All right, we are back. Almost made a little faux pas with pushing the button. I didn't know it was going to go automatically. That's a good thing. So anyway, Ben Harbor, good afternoon, guys and gals. Our listening out audience, you are back on today. Today's February 27th, 2025. This is Chat with the Chief with myself, Director Dan McGinnis, and Chief Greg Abrams from Benton Township. I'm from Ben Harbor City. We're on with you here every week to give you updates and talk about the happenings between our community. Remember, Benton Harbor is one. So Benton Harbor City, Benton Harbor Township, we are all the 49022 and we are all the harbor. So last week we didn't, was it last week? I wasn't on because I was out of
Yes,
town.
he was on last.
Yeah. Yeah, week before last. Anyway, so we're back this week. Chief Abrams and I are both a little bit under the weather. You know, that crazy flu bug is going around. I had it before. Kind of unusually tired. People might be going through that. I don't know if it's a lasting side effect of that flu or whatever. I know alarmingly, I've been seeing some videos about people in their 30s that have been dropping dead, and they linked it to the COVID-19 vaccination. Not trying to open up that can of worms or get into the politics of that, but it seems like now people catch the flu that we caught before, but now it's harder to get over it than it was before. And I don't get a flu shot. I'm a type of person, I don't like extra shots necessarily. I don't like shots, period. I get the flu like once every 4 years. So I don't need to get a shot every year for the flu that I hear makes you sick when you take it. That doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, that's where we are. Chief, I know you're a little under the weather. How you feeling right now, buddy? You still look
I'm good,
terrific.
man. I'm good enough to get through our session today. Let's put it that way.
Excellent. I did stay home yesterday for a little rest, and I'm a little bit better today. So we're here with you guys all, and a few things we want to kind of go over and talk about, give you an update. Chief, let's start with you. What do you have as far as over there in the township over like the last week or so?
Well, honestly, I want to do a little bit of updating on some road projects that MDOT presented actually to a lot of the Berrien County um, people today, as far as dispatchers, tow truck drivers, all of that. And I think everyone should know about these closings, so you'll know where to go. So I'll start off, and it's kind of long and it's lengthy, but I'll try to dumb it down just a little bit for you. So March 20th of 25. So this meeting was a Zoom meeting with MDOT. So March 19th of 2025. They will close I-94 westbound exit ramp at Napier Avenue, which is exit 30. The detour will be I-94 westbound exit 34, US South 31 to US 31, exit 24, Napier Avenue. Like I say, it gets kind of confusing. I-94 at Pipestone Road, exit 29, they're going to be doing work there. So there will be some detours. I-94 at Niles Avenue, exit 27, they'll be doing some detours and road work. So the westbound lanes is getting ready to be worked on, and they're going to be doing a lot of road closures. Um, uh, July 26th of 25, westbound off ramp, it will be back open. So it looks like a lot of the road work they're going to start now should be done by July of this year. But just be aware that there's going to be a lot of road closures and detour signs this summer. Just be aware of your surroundings.
You know, I wish I had known this a couple of days ago because I jumped on 94 and it was like a disaster. There was no warning signs like construction on once you get on the freeway, and I was almost smashed with a semi truck, and I had to make the decision either just kind of stay with the barrel, get beyond the barrel, come back, or get smashed by the truck. So that's good information. So there is construction on I-94 that's coming through Benton Township that affects residents being able to get on or off. Is that kind of Cliff Note version, Chief?
Yes, I see Shaquille Turner asked about will there be a map provided? It sounds like the closures will be uploaded to Google Maps that kind of show you the area where the closings are at. So I'm not sure when they're going to get that done or when it's going to be done, but it sounds like that's a project that's happening now.
And that probably would be, since that's the state of Michigan doing that, maybe on their website they might
The
have the
website as well.
information.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. So okay, so that is that with that's good information on the update on the traffic on 94. What else you got?
Chick-fil-A, baby. Chick-fil-A is
Oh,
open. I was there for the ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday. We had the Tiger Marching Band. Um, it was great. Justin Barnes spoke very well, cutting the ribbon. He had his family there. So today we were anticipating a serious influx in traffic, which we did get. I think we even had someone camping outside of Chick-fil-A like they was outside Best Buy getting ready to buy the new next iPhone. They was in the tent, bro. They was in the tent.
like
So we was like,
what do you call, like Black? What's the day after Thanksgiving? Was that
but
Black
Black Friday,
Friday?
right? It was
So
Black
Chick
Friday
Fil
for
A had a line
Chick-fil-A.
like Black Friday.
Yeah. I heard the service was great. I heard there's still quite a few cars going through there. Um, it wasn't chaotic. It was, man, it was great. But we had township supervisor was there, Carolyn, Kathy Yates, Carolyn Phillips. They were all there, but it was a very nice opening. Honor Guard was there from Barron County Sheriff Department. They did a great job raising the flag. It was an auspicious occasion. Let's put it that way.
And I know we were there. I think should have been a squad car and a fire engine. So that's great. What on a kind of on the same topic, Chief Abrams? I also heard that there's a Starbucks coming. So what other things are coming to our community out there in the township? We got Chick-fil-A. I'm hearing Starbucks is coming. What do you know about that or anything else?
I'm not sure when Starbucks is going to be opening, but we also, if you see on Airplane Drive, if you're en route to the Secretary of State's office when you pass Harbor Point, they're breaking ground there. That's going to be a Tractor Supply store, sort of like it's the same one that's in Stevensville. So that's we have that coming. There's a couple other places that's coming that I can't speak about at this moment. That's going to benefit. It's going to benefit our community as well.
So let me ask you this. This put on my Joe Citizen hat. So obviously we all love Benton Harbor. Now we've talked actually a few times on this show about social justice and us being treated fairly. Um, but what I'm seeing is an influx of businesses coming not just to Benton Township but also into the city. So despite all the misdirection and Benton Harbor this that and the other, people are lining up to come spending their money, open up businesses. We are on the rise. And I've always believed that we would get back to how it used to be back in the 50s, where we got all, Walgreens is on Main Street and all the cars in traffic. But it's just amazing to see in our careers, Chief Abrams, again, I started on your shift where Benton Harbor was when I started to where it is now. That's absolutely awesome. That's kind of off the beaten path of what we're talking about. But I mean, we are Benton Harbor, and other people outside see that and see the economic opportunity and are bringing businesses in. So that just warms my heart, Chief. I love it.
Yeah, it's the same here. I think of it the same way. If we were that bad, if we were sold this and sold that, and we had, you know, everything was negative this, negative that, and all the stuff you see on YouTube about all this area is so poor. Yeah, okay. I think if people or businesses really believe that, I think we wouldn't have the growth that we're having right now. All the hotels that's being, every time I look around, we got a new hotel in Ben Township. Um, it's like, okay, we have new businesses coming in, and I think that the owners or who are looking at this area, they do the real research. They come into the neighborhoods, they probably get the real numbers, and that's why they decide, they go from there and say, yep, this is a place where we want to be at, because they see the real deal. 49022.
That's it. Okay, couple of responses. Mr. James Braddock, you want to do a ride along? Um, towards the end of the show, we'll flash my number, Chief Abrams' number. You can contact us directly for ride along. We can kind of tell you how that goes. As far as Mr. Turner, he's asking, will we allow semi trucks to park at the Tractor Supply parking lot? I don't know
No,
anything about that. So
yeah, the Tractor Supply store is pretty much the same as a family farm and home store. They just call it Tractor Supply Company. It's not for semi trucks or anything like that or tractors. I'm sure they're going to sell, ride. They do sell riding mowers and trailers and things like that, but it's not for that purpose. It's pretty much the same as a family farm and home that we have
okay,
already. So it'll be their competitor.
okay, and I know that's a pretty good question. Because in Benton Harbor, there are only, I want to say, six streets that semi trucks are legally able to drive on. And let me see. So it's Territorial, it's Main Street, Pipestone, Highland, obviously Fair, um, Empire, and um, uh, I forget the name of the street, Milton, and not Riverview, but in Britain. Those are the streets legally that semi trucks can travel on in the city of Benton Harbor. And part two of that is there is no place in the city where semi trucks can park. I think we've all seen people trying to kind of beat the system. They don't want to get a ride from Flying J's to where they're staying in the city. So that's kind of to Shaquille's question as far as semi trucks in the city. Those are the only roadways that they can drive on, and they can't park there at all. So I think that might have been where he was getting at,
Okay.
where they have the ability to try to skirt the system and park at this new parking lot versus go to the truck stop. And I don't know, Shaq and Mike, is that what I'm talking about? Is that what you're referring to here?
I'm reading it now. After looking at the question more, yeah. I was just answering the first question: would trucks
Yeah,
be allowed to park there? And I'm like, well, it's not really for semi truck parking.
yeah. And he's a professional, so he would know. Okay,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, so that's a good point. Again, people try to get over. I don't know anything about truck driving. I don't know if you have to pay to park at the Flying J's or those type of things, but you definitely can't have them in the city or certain residential areas. So, okay, that's a good question. So, kind of getting back to weekly update on our half, the city half. I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to revisit stolen vehicles. Um, as we have said, actually over like the last, I want to say several shows, that the occurrence of stolen vehicles are down in the city and in township. We have actually, I think, finally we got some movement from the courts as far as the people that we've been catching. Unfortunately, they are predominantly juveniles, so they were down. So I just, for the sake of the show, I looked at statistics for a week from last week to this week, and we got some statistics. There were actually from last month, or about less than a month time, there were five. But here's what's important: there's one thing about having a number, but it's another thing to dig down into the data. So the five stolen vehicles that are from. Let me pull this up here. Um, from February 7th to February 22nd. So that's about a 2 week period. We did have some stolen vehicles. However, these vehicles that were stolen, 4 out of the 5 were basically user error, if you will, or citizen error. And I'm going to explain that. So don't kind of get twisted on that yet. I want to explain. We're going to talk about victimization versus victimology. Um, so for example, if you were just look at this report and you say, oh, stolen vehicles went from 0 for the last couple of weeks to now we've had 5. However, 2 of the vehicles were older cars that the driver started and left running outside and walked back in the house. Now, um, those two occurrences are not the same mo, if you will, of the vehicles of these young kids that have been trying to steal the, the Hyundais and those cars, the Kias. So we had two of those that were, unfortunately, the vehicle owners started the car, walked in the house. One of these were older vehicles, so that's kind of like, hey, an advertisement. Here I am, come get me. Again, bear with me here as I'm explaining the numbers, and then when you dig down into it, another stolen vehicle, and realize for us, every offense has a number assigned to it. We call them file classes. You won't hear officers talk to you on the street about file classes and LIMS codes because that's just our internal jargon. But there was another vehicle that was stolen that has to go under the number of the file class for stolen vehicles. But this looks to be a dispute between a woman and a boyfriend. So we wouldn't necessarily count that as a stolen vehicle from the perspective of what we've been watching the last year or two, as far as the young kids taking vehicles and stealing them. Again, that goes to victimology, which I'm going to explain. Another vehicle that a person had in their yard parked and had a set of keys in the car. Again, guys, we got to be careful. Again, I'm going to get into discussing that here in a second. And then we actually had another vehicle that was legitimately stolen that we were able to track down and get back. So I'm mentioning that, excuse me, guys, for two reasons. Well, three. One, to be transparent on what we got going on. Two, Chief Abrams and I, get inside the data to see exactly if there are any particular commonalities, things that can tell us as far as investigative leads, etc., passing on information to our sergeants, other departments. We do that. And the other reason is that in situations like this, we see an opportunity to be able to teach our citizens to reduce their victimology. And I'm about to explain that. Chief, before I get into explaining victimization versus victimology, you have anything you wanna add as I transition to this?
Well, we've had about from that time period that you're speaking of, we had about three or four of them. One of them I would classify as suspicious only because when the complaint was reported, um, there was some inconsistencies in the story of how a car got from one spot to the
To
next.
another.
So even though it was a classification of a stolen car per se, we don't really believe it was a stolen vehicle. So yeah, the numbers are down, and the classification of stolen vehicles, you have to really dig into the narrative of, okay, why is this vehicle missing? How
Right.
did it become missing? Was the vehicle damaged? And all these things is what make up our file class for a stolen vehicle. So yes, uh, pretty much the same thing has been going on here as is going on in and the other part of the 49022 too.
Well, it's amazing how we mirror each other so closely, and yeah, that's amazing. Because again, one of these is actually my notes say sugar daddy taken advantage of, but I didn't say that, but that's what it was. All right, so
Uh,
here's why when I say we got to be careful, um, victimization versus victimology. Okay, I want to try and be quick with this. So here, one of the things, Chief, that I believe in very strongly, and I'm pretty sure you do too, is anybody that sits in these chairs should have a philosophy on crime control. I think any good chief worth his weight in salt should be able to tell you what he or she believes in and how they go about it. So, what I mean by that is, if you were to say, Chief McGinnis, what is your philosophy on crime control? For me, it's two things. It is reducing the opportunity for crime is number one, and number two is reducing the victimology of crime, which I'm about to explain right here. So though that is my philosophy on crime control. All right. So very quickly, because probably a discussion itself, when we say reducing the opportunity for crime, That is things like environmental design, having nice areas, don't have places look like dumps, or if you have an abandoned building, make sure it's properly taken care of. Um, Not have, if you have a large area, good lighting, effective patrolling, officers being visible, getting out on foot and talking to people. So wherever you see a location, an officer should have been seen patrolling in there or stopping and just talking to somebody. Maybe it might be some vehicle stops. And let me say this very quickly. When I say vehicle stops, some of us older guys, we would stop cars just to talk to people. So traffic stops aren't always you did something wrong, you're bad. For example, I'd see a neighbor or somebody that tried to call me and I called them back and I didn't see him. I'd say, hey, we played phone tag. Hey, what's going on? That type of thing. So one thing that we don't talk about a lot is just officers stopping citizens either on foot or maybe they might see him out, wave him down just to talk to him. But so that's part of the reducing the opportunity for crime. It's that reason that if you see cops consistently, or you see them consistently but randomly, which is a different discussion again, then maybe they don't want to hit that area. Reducing, excuse me, having certain protections at your home. So victimization, what is that? So victimization is actually what a victim goes through that has been the victim of a crime, meaning the crime has already happened, so they have been victimized. So that is different from what is called victimology. And here's what's important. Here's all that I've said as far as the cars have come down to this. What victimology is, quite simply, is a person's ability to reduce the likelihood that they may be victimized. Let me say that again. Victimology is the concept that a person will learn certain things, become enlightened, and protect themselves to reduce the likelihood that they become victimized. Victimization is a person who's already has been a victim of a crime. Victimology, we try to teach people how to protect themselves and not, for the most part, put a target on their chest that they don't realize that they're doing. So, for an example, going back to the stolen vehicles, one thing that is heightened victimology is a person who has a car in their driveway, leave the doors unlocked, leave a copy of the keys inside the car, have your child's birth certificates in there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
Title.
the title, yeah, please don't keep your titles in your car.
Please
So
don't.
when we say we want to reduce the victimology, that's why we're doing what we're doing as far as Chat with the Chief, to try to enlighten you on some ways to protect yourself. So I can give you some other examples. Here's how you can some steps you can take to help prevent your house from being broken into. Um, One thing is if you can have outside good lighting in your driveway and your porch, especially in your backyard, any area that might be a blind spot to you, if you're inside your home or outside your home, if somebody's driving by, the other places in your yard that somebody could stand and not be seen. So good lighting is very important. Another mistake we see citizens do, again, and I want to be clear, we're not saying you're doing anything wrong. You guys aren't supposed to think like we think. Unfortunately, people don't think about being victimized until they've been victimized. So, and you're not supposed to think about that. That's why that thin blue line that you see in flags, matter of fact, it's on the back of our screen here. What that thin blue line means is that the police see and deal with things that you shouldn't. There's a thin line between good and evil, is what that really means. So the average person doesn't think about that. So another thing, people might have their trash can or a hose box directly under a window. Well, what does that do? That gives me, Mr. Bad Guy, a free step to get on top of that particular box and break into your kitchen window or your bathroom window, which tend to be higher. So you want to make sure you don't have anything that can be used as a step under your particular window. All right. That's a way of helping to prevent yourself and reduce an opportunity for crime. If there's no clear-cut way to get into your house, well lit, I would advise most people, a lot of people have cameras these days. Those are very important. But those are certain things you can do to reduce the likelihood that you will be victimized. Another maybe extreme example of, say you have a person who brags about having cash and they're pulling out their pocket big wads and Big Willie, he rolled like this, da da da. Well, there could be bad guys listening that are saying, aha, let's get Big Willie in the back of the building and when he's going out to his car and we're gonna rob him for his cash. So don't brag about what you have. Don't brag about. Another thing, we see this tax season and Christmas. We get money or it's gift time and you buy your 65-inch, probably these days 80-inch TVs. Then what do they do, Chief? Where they put the box at?
Put the box out on the front curve so everybody can see it. I
It's an
got the 85
advertisement.
inch Samsung.
Brand new TV, y'all.
Come
That
get
box
it.
sitting in front of your yard for many days is an advertisement of, hey guys, I got new stuff. Come get it. That is what we're talking about, reducing the victimology. So what we would suggest for a situation like that, and by all means, you work hard, you deserve your new TV, you
Mhm.
deserve your new this, that, and the other. Keep the box in your garage until the absolute day of trash. Keep it in your back hidden where it can't be seen from the street until your day of trash. I know what I do. I take that sucker and I'll cut it up and tear it up and make it fit in a trash can. That's what we're talking about as far as reducing the victimology. And again, reducing the victimology goes hand in hand with reducing the opportunity for crime. So if somebody doesn't see your 80-inch TV box on the street, that removes the opportunity for crime, and it also removes the likelihood that you may be victimized because it's a big banner like, say, come rob me. So those are the things that we are trying to do to help educate Benton Harbor citizens on protecting themselves. So that's what I had, Chief. I'm gonna turn it over to you if you want to reflect on some of those things or add to it.
Well spoken. I totally agree with everything you were saying. I've spoken to many of our businesses in the area, especially when I used to do the neighborhood watch beat. And what I would make sure I would tell, some of the patrons is like, hey, it takes less than 2 seconds for somebody to walk past your grocery cart when you walk down and grab that box of Fruity Pebbles and your purse has been gone. I've had those complaints, man. I've had them several times. You just don't think when you're out in public grocery shopping, Walmart, Myers, wherever, that you'll turn around to grab an item, and when you turn back around, your purse or whatever expensive thing you had in there that belongs to you has been gone. It's removed. It's gone. Sometimes we can retrace those steps back with the video surveillance, but that doesn't always mean that we're going to identify who the suspect was that took these items. We always preach, as far as our stores are concerned, our businesses, that when you're out and about, be aware of your surroundings. Don't take in more baggage into a store that you have to. If you know that you're going in for a few items and you're just going to need your credit card and your ID or your wallet, I mean your driver license, stick those things in your pocket. You know, don't set yourself up to become a victim because you're just not thinking, about safety. And that's what it's all about. It's about safety, and it's about your surroundings and being aware. So yeah, you hit everything right on the head.
There was a comment that about an incident that happened in River Terrace, and actually I do appreciate that and the compliment. I did not mention that for the reason of protecting the manager. I think those of us that work with her and those that live in River Terrace know who that is. So although she is a manager, that she does have a right to privacy. But yes, unfortunately, about a week or so ago, there was a carjacking in River Terrace, and we were able to actually develop the suspects very quickly, got search warrants, and arrested those subjects. A few hours later, guess where they were from, and where they went to? Kalamazoo.
Huh.
We have a link to Kalamazoo when it comes to stolen cars. Either they come here and steal and then go back, or vice versa. So yes, that did happen, and yeah, we did get them rather quickly. So yeah, that is, and let me say this: with that situation, she didn't really do anything wrong. These guys, you can tell from what I know over the incident, have been doing this for a while. Have been
And
doing
she
this
was
for a
targeted.
while.
She was probably
Yeah,
targeted, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly. So, and her being the dedicated person that she is, the last to leave the office, I think that they probably have been watching her, and that's how they took advantage of her. So, you can't always. There's no perfect, I guess, formula for reducing your victimology. Sometimes if people want to victimize you enough, they'll do it. But yeah, that's why I did not mention that, just for the sake of her privacy. But I thank you for mentioning that. That did happen. Again, we're transparent here. So James Braddock, for you, sir, if you want to, between us and Benton Township, do a ride along, here is Chief Abrams' contact information at Benton Township. Actually, I'm not sure. Do you do ride alongs?
Yes, actually, we do. There's certain criteria that they have to meet, but I can always speak to them about that when they call.
Yeah, same here. And here is my number if you want to contact me. And again, anyone here on here now watching Chat with the Chief, or will see this in the subsequent hours, these are our numbers. These are our direct dial numbers to our office. This is my personal number here at the city. And again, Chief Abrams' number to his desk at Township Hall. So, Chief, I think we're coming to a close. You have any closing thoughts for the Benton Harbor folk? And then we'll get out of here for another week.
Eat at Chick-fil-A. That's what I tell them. Just go eat. Go try it out at least. It just seems like Mr. Barnes just has a great love for the township, for the city, for the 49022. He left, he came back, and it sounds like he really wants to do a great thing here. And he hired out of the community. I mean, it's the things he was saying just shows his dedicated support for both you and I. Dan, I mean, he even mentioned both of us as this area he came to is because he already knew you, and
Right.
then him and I got to know each other, and he just loved what we were doing, and he loved how we feel about our community. So that's the love we're going to keep portraying for our community in the 49022. And I'm hoping our community can love us back as well.
Amen. Okay,
Amen.
Chief. Well, man, we still have not hit that 20 to 30. We're a couple minutes over. But I think it's been good information. So if there'll be nothing else, Ben Harbor, we thank you all for the comments. Please share the show. I know we come on at 1, but again, it'll be on Facebook. People can watch it anytime after, or also on the city YouTube site. And until next week, you all be blessed, be safe, stay away from people coughing and hacking in the air. You don't want the flu that's going around. And again, if you have any questions, you feel free to contact either one of us, and we will see you next week. Be blessed, Ben Harbor.